Right, hello. Today we're going to try and enhance the eyes. So I've got a couple of tricks we can do here. It's pretty basic, pretty quick and pretty straightforward. So this will be a reasonably short tutorial. But what we're going to try to do here is obviously just make the eyes a focal point in this image. Clearly the model's got great blue eyes, but what we want to do is just make those pop off the page a wee bit more. Now to achieve this, the quickest way, aside from cleaning up the rest of the image, we'll just focus on the eyes, is we go down, we select a curves layer, we go to the curves, and what we're going to do is push the curve and pretty much blow it out. So as you can see, blowing out the whole image altogether, which I'll take a look back here, is not good, but we will correct it just in a minute. So now that we've done that, we want to go over to the layer itself, and obviously white is show and black is hide. So we want to change that to black. So we just invert that layer. Now I use a Mac, so it's Command I, and the layers are, so the effect of the curve isn't being applied at this stage. Now, but what we want to do now, we want to paint back that effect. So we're going to use the layer to paint that back in. So what we do is we pick the brush, we go over here and we make sure we have a white foreground picked. And then all we want to do is make a really tiny little speck of a brush. We want to go right in until the image pixelizes and then just back off. So we're really tight on that eyeball. As you can see, I want to make that brush just even smaller again. So as you can see, it's a very tiny brush. Now what you'll see here is I draw, we're creating these very fine lines. And we want to go from the center of the pupil out to the edge. And we want to do this lots and lots. So I'll just go around and we just keep doing it. Now we sort of want it on the opposite side to where the highlight is in the eye, ideally. So as you can see, the highlight is at the top of the eye here in the pupil. So we just want to create that around there. So as you can see, I've got lots of little lines, all at different depth. So they're all in there now, and that's probably about enough. Now, what we want to do is, obviously that just looks horrible. So we want to bring all that back. So the first thing we want to do is take our brush, and now we want to paint black back in. But we don't want the opacity and the flow to be as high. So I change that to about maybe 20% flow and 20% opacity. We just want to get around the edges here and just dull them down a bit so it sort of fades in, so it's not so strong, and then just a couple of light brushes over the whole. So let's just brought it back a bit so it's not so prominent and strong. Now if I go turn that off and on over here, you'll see what I've done. So that's quite a big change on the eye right there. Now it's still way too much, so let's just even it out. So now it looks natural, but it's obviously a way too bright. So one option was we can back it off in the curve itself and bring the curve back down. And then as you can see, I can turn it off and on there, just to create a bit of shine and sparkle on the eye. I think that's about right. So we back right out of the image. Just creates that highlight on the eye and just helps it pop a bit. So I think that's about right. Now, we obviously want to do the same to the other eye. So you've got two options: either create another curve and repeat the exercise, or what I like to do, because the eyes are almost on the same focal plane, is I can just copy that layer, decouple the the layer, and we can just go pick up the image. So we broke the chain there, as you can see, between the curve and the layer itself, the mask, and then we can just pick that up and drag it. And you can see me dragging it over, and we can just drop it on the other eye. Now, let me put that link back in. We probably need to go check out that other eye, make sure that's okay, and just tidy that up by obviously editing the mask and making sure that we haven't gone into the eyelid with anything, and just go around it. So as you can see there, I apply the same effect. Or have I? Or maybe I didn't. What happened there? Alright, we'll just back that up. What did I do? Must have blooming deleted it. Okay, anyway, back it up. Command Z backs up. So we're back to where I was. Okay, so I just want to obviously tidy that up. Make sure we didn't go over the edge around that eye. The other one too is because that eye is slightly back on the focal plane, it's not as sharp as the front leading eye over here on the right hand side. So what we'll do is we'll just create a little bit of a Gaussian blur on that. So we'll go up to the mask itself, we'll go to filter, and we'll create a bit of blur to it so it looks like it's blended in. Now we clearly don't want to go 22 pixels. We probably need 1 pixel, maybe 2 pixels. No, probably 1 pixel. And then it's obviously blurred by 1 pixel, which is probably at the same blur as the left-hand eye. Or if you're looking at from my angle, the right-hand eye, this one here. So now that we've done that, the next thing we want to do is just make that highlight, as you can see in both eyes, just pop a wee bit more. So we'll just create a blank layer above the top here. We're just going to take the brush again, and we'll make it flow 100, opacity 100. We'll paint white right over that little spot. Now, I know that looks horrible and totally unnatural, but we're going to change the blend mode. So we'll pick normal. We'll drop down to overlay. What that will do is just help enhance that spot. And we can use the opacity at this point to decide how much or how little of that we want it to sort of take effect. So probably maybe around 80%. So if you take it back now, we've done the eyes. What we can do is group it all, just so select them all, Command G on the Mac, and then you can see me turning that effect off, on, off, on. You see those eyes are just, I've got a bit more life and sparkle and whatnot to them. So at this point, as a group, you could then adjust the effect on the whole group by using opacity and how much or how little you want that to apply. Probably, I think we're not too bad. We're just about there, about 95%. And that's basically it. And that's all I tend to do with the pupils. Obviously, the other thing we want to do here is tidy up any white in the eye, but we'll leave that for another video. But that's basically how we make the eye itself pop.